Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be going to local nursery plant shopping at Pitas Planters in Dallas, Texas. As always, plant foldies, please make sure you are hitting that like button for this video. I would love for some more engagement, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. That is the fastest way to get in touch with me. Today is actually a very special day because I am filming as they are going to be doing a pop-up. But you can see right over here, guys, plant foldies. Pitas Planters is one of my favorite places to go shopping. You can see here they've got a Hoya splash. They've actually got a variety of many different types of Hoyas and just plants in general. You can see they've got some starter planters over here of just a bunch of Tradescanthia and even some peperomias. But it is a beautiful morning, and I love filming this nursery, especially in the morning. You can see that Pitas Planters is a small business located in Dallas, Texas. So if you are a plant foldie visiting Dallas, definitely check this place out. You can see as I walk in here, there are just plants everywhere. And what I like about it is, even though it is a small space, Pitas Planters maximizes on every single inch of this shop. I love the fact that, you know, Pita and also David allow me to go film their actual nursery, their plant shop, about an hour or so before they actually open on Saturdays. So I just love that. And I am definitely rooting for you. I'm definitely rooting for Pitas Planters. You know, this is a nursery that I have featured often, and people ask me why. And for me, it's all about supporting local businesses. It's always great to support people that really have an ambition and dream. You know, my thing about my plant shopping videos is someday I would also like to become a plant influencer, where I can actually influence people to, you know, get into plants, to really enjoy the process of taking care of plants. And for, you know, Pita and David, I just really want to make sure that we provide a lot of exposure to their plant shop, because they have so many cool varieties. Like this one right here, you would think this was the peperomia teardrop or raindrop, but it is not. It is an actual philodendron. And that's the thing about Pitas Planters, is you'll find an array of different types of philodendron, peperomia, alocasia, aglaonema, just all sorts of different varieties of plant genuses. And you know, this is a plant that shop that you can actually definitely travel to if you want to get some rare and uncommon plants, instead of having to go buy on an online plant shop. Especially if you're a local you know, plant lover that lives out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I would highly recommend going to Pitas Planters. You can see right here, they got a really cute looking philodendron micans. And what I like about philodendron micans, it is a vigorous grower. It's a fast growing philodendron. I love the velvety leaves. Now you do need to provide it with quite a bit of bright light for it to not get leggy. And you can see here, they've got a bunch of starter planters here. I am gonna assume that this is in a 2-inch planter for a philodendron silver sword. It might be the narrow form. I'm not 100% sure, but you can even buy tiny plants like this if you want to start off with just a tiny plant and see it grow. You know, there are times where I want to buy a big plant just because it's instant gratification, but the process of actually growing plants and tending to them is really rewarding. I mean, right over here, I believe this is a starter of a philodendron pink princess. So this one's already showing quite a bit of variegation to start off. And then you have these living stones here, or lithophs, that are available as well. I do like the interior of Pitas Planters, because literally everywhere you turn, there is going to be a happy surprise of just like another plant that you would not expect. Like over here, we've got a hanging basket of string of hearts, the non-variegated form, but needless to say, it's still a beautiful plant. And then we have some more philodendron starters right over here. We've got some type of lipstick plant. I do like the coloration on it. Look at that pattern on the leaves. And so if you want to find different types of plants, or if you are a beginner, I would say visit Pitas Planters. They are super knowledgeable about the plants. They can definitely recommend plants that are also pet friendly. I do like the fact that they have a sticker with a paw that shows pet friendly and non-toxic. So that's a really good idea. Not a lot of plant shops actually take the time to do that. So I really like that. You know, this is a smaller, intimate space for plant shopping, but needless to say, you're still going to to be able to find some really good plants. You know, my opinion about some of these bigger nurseries is, yes, there is quite a bit of space, but it's the same plant over and over versus going to Pitas Planters where you can find a bunch of different types of string of whatever. Like they got string of turtles, string of hearts. They've just got a lot of trailing plants. You can see right over here, they've got another hanging basket of some type of Hoya. Really like the veining of this one as well. And the thing about Hoyas is they're actually pet friendly for the most part. There might be some varieties that are not, and they're actually not as fussy of a plant as you would think. Most Hoya varieties are very drought tolerant because they have that thick waxy leaf. And if you go to Pitas Planters, they have many different varieties. I love the fact that they do offer more of the uncommon and rare Hoyas as well. And as far as pricing is concerned, Pitas Planters, even for a small business, are priced very competitively with other local plant nurseries and even big box stores. Now, I did want to go show you this. This is an Alocasia dragon scale variegated form, and look at how stunning that variegation is. So we talked about, you know, variegated Alocasias as being the it plant for 2024. I will say that this is $145. That's actually not a bad price at all, because when I went to PlantCon 2024 in Houston, they were selling this dragon scale Alocasia for about $300. So the price is already cut in half just within half a year. So we'll see how the pricing goes for Alocasia. I will say that, you know, variegated Alocasia are more of an investment plan. So if you or a friend want to get into maybe splitting the cost of like a variegated Alocasia, like this one's a variegated Alocasia Bambino, really like that a lot, and that is for $136. You can actually split the cost, grow it out, wait for corms or babies to start growing, because Alocasia or variegated Alocasia will produce little pups or babies that you can split from the mother plant. That's what I like about Alocasia. The only draw side about Alocasia, especially the variegated Alocasia, is there is quite a bit of care that you would need in order for them to thrive. I would say lighting conditions is one, warmth or humidity as well is another one, for them to really thrive. Now over here is a Burley Marks flame. That is actually a really cool, uncommon, maybe rare plant. This one is $115, and again, this plant pricing has gone substantially down as it was a baby, like the beginning of the year, where that was like $400, and now you can find it at a local nursery like Pitas Planters. So if you want to get a starter plant of the Burley Marks Flame, super cool looking plant. You know, I'm not quite as sold to purchase one just yet. I want to hold off on that, you know, and that's the thing though. I am going to PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, so there are some plants that I'm just going to hold off from purchasing just because I want to have a budget for it. And the exciting thing is Pitas Planters will actually have a booth at PlantCon 2024 in August 31st, September 1st. So plant foldies, and for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. I would like to utilize Pitas Planters as the booth to where we can meet up. It can be a central location for us. I'm hoping to meet up with everybody around 11, so I'm hoping that you guys will show up. I know that general admission is at 10, so that'll give you guys about an hour to wander around, and then hopefully I can meet up with y'all at Pitas Planters around 11. You'll be able to find me even though I am faceless. Just know that I'll be wearing my Grow Folds t-shirt. It'll be a green one. So feel free to say hi. I would love to meet all of you guys. And Pita and David would also like to meet you guys as well, because this is one of the small businesses I definitely like to support, because you can't help but support somebody that has an ambition, has a goal, has great service, customer service. And just look at all these plants. I mean, they have so many different varieties. Like this one right over here is another Piper of some sort for $25. It almost looks like an Alocasia the way the texture is. And the thing about Piper plants, I don't know as much about them, but I will say when you are ordering Pipers in the mail, they don't travel as well in the mail. So just being able to get something in person kind of guarantees more of the survival of the plant. And you can see here, like, look at how beautiful that light, that morning light hits this plant. You can see that it has some really good texture, and I am all about it, and it's only for $25. And the thing about Pitas Planters is if you want to collect a bunch of different types of plants, like for instance philodendron, this would be my go-to place, as well as like aglaonema or even alocasia. They have different varieties. I mean, take a look at this. This is an alocasia Friedeck for only $68.50. Now, most nurseries will be selling this for more than $100. I've seen one local nursery selling it for $150. So if you want to get a variegated Friedeck, I know some people even just want the regular Friedeck. Pitas Planters has quite a bit of it. I know that these will also be available to purchase at PlantCon. I am debating on whether I should get a variegated Friedeck as well, or just a variegated Alocasia. I do not own any variegated ones except a variegated Odora, but that is something on my list as well. Now, this is a really cool anthurium. This is an Anthurium Doriaki, and I did see this available to import from Green Spaces ID. But if you know this anthurium is available at a local nursery out in Dallas, Texas, like Pitas Planters, I would most likely purchase it here. It's not that I don't want to import plants from Indonesia. I absolutely love it, and I actually support Green Spaces ID, who also will be at the PlantCon 2024. It's just nice to be able to go into a local nursery and buy some really nice anthurium. Now, here's the thing about anthuriums, plant foldies. They do require quite a bit of humidity, so most people will typically grow them in a cabinet, something like this, with a humidifier as well as like a fan for airflow. That's something that you want to do for a lot of your plants if you're not able to give them that type of ambient humidity. I mean, look at this one right here. Beautiful, beautiful variegation, and they still have quite a bit of Alocasia Friedeck available. They're super healthy. They've been here for a little bit now, and I just love looking at them. And then I also just like the fact that, you know, variegated Alocasia for the most part will hold on to their variegation. Now, the thing about variegated Alocasia, if I were you, I would actually use a solution that will help them from browning or crisping. It's called the Silica solution. It is something you can buy on Amazon called Protect with Super Thrive. What it does is it actually thickens the cells of the plant to where they're a little bit more resistant and hardy. I utilize that for my Monstera albo. So a lot of my actual plants that have a high variegation, I utilize that, and it has been very successful for me. It also makes them a little bit more heat tolerant, drought tolerant, and it's just a really good supplement. But to go back to all of the plants at Pitas Planters, I did want to take my time to show you guys what they have over here. You can see here they've got a beautiful Philodendron plomanii, and just even the light hitting it makes it more of a neon color. Look at the veining of it. And you know, a couple years back I used to have a plomanii, and that is not a bad price at all. I believe that's what, $35, and that's a really good size. I remember buying a plomanii for $160, and the only thing about Philodendron plomanii is you do have to maintain pest control because it can be spider mite prone. So what I would recommend is, obviously, pest control for me is using a neem oil spray whenever I water my plants in the shower. And I've been really good about watering my plants more consistently. I will water them in the shower, wash off their leaves, and then use my plant foldy mist spray, which is basically a DIY neem oil spray. Spray the tops of the leaves down, the bottoms of the soil, the drainage hole, the stems, and underneath the leaves. And not only does it make the plant shiny and presentable, but it also gets rid of a lot of the pests. So it's an actual cost-effective one. I used to use Captain Jack's debugger, but it got a little bit costly, and I like the fact that neem oil is a little bit more organic in that route. Now, over here is another Hoya. This is just a Hoya carnosa, Crimson Princess, and I know I see this a lot at big box stores like Walmart, Home Depot, or Lowe's, but I don't typically see them in this size. Now, this one is for $15, so if you want to start a Hoya collection, you can definitely go to Pitas Planters, because Pita loves Hoyas, and she definitely sources quite a bit for her shop. And then over here, we've got a beautiful Philodendron Brantianum. Now, the thing about Philodendron Brantianum is it does does like a little bit more humidity. It has a beautiful like metallic shine to it. It almost looks like foil. And the best way to grow a Philodendron brantianum, honestly, is to grow it up a totem pole, a plank, or a moss pole, because it wants to naturally climb up. And as it starts to climb up and attach its aerial roots, the leaves start to get larger. I've seen the leaves be as wide as like a foot long, and that's just massive silver leaves. Now, this is eventually another Syngonium I want to add back into my collection. This is a Syngonia wallandii, and right now with the Syngonia wallandii, when it's a juvenile form like this, it will have that silver streak to it, or that silver veining. But then as it matures and it crawls up a totem pole, it develops a velvety tri-lobe shape versus just that narrow form. And then you can see right here, Monstera Esqueleto. That is another plant I would love to actually purchase at some point, and they have that priced well also. And then as I pan away over here, plant foldies, you can see they've got an array of different types of Hoyas. I do like that this is another Hoya for only $30 already on a trellis, and I do find this endearing. You know, I haven't made it to become a Hoya head or in my Hoya era yet. I might end up doing that after PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. I'm so excited. I just can't believe it is literally 12 days away as I edit this video and premiere it. And then you can see it right here. I ended up getting this Hoya actually the last time I visited. It is more of an uncommon Hoya, and this one is for $22. Now, the thing about Hoya that I prefer or like is the fact that they are drought tolerant. Like literally, I didn't even water a Hoya for about a month. Not that I would suggest doing it, but it still was able to survive because while the leaves kind of like started to like shrivel up, after watering it within 24 to 48 hours, it was back to normal. So that works for me. Now with Hoyas, like this Hoya variegated macrophyllum, you want to make sure that you are providing it with quite a bit of bright light as well as humidity. Now they say that they actually bloom when you give them those conditions. I have yet to get my plant to do that. Now, as far as a philodendron I will eventually purchase from Pita, I will buy the philodendron orange marmalade, because while it looks like a painted lady, there is a difference as it matures and gets a little bit larger. I love neon color plants. Now this is in a 4.5-inch starter planter for $35, so which is not bad at all. I also will say, as far as like Pita Planters plants, they're super healthy. They have amazing pest control for their plants, and then they source their plants from very sustainable areas. So I love that they practice really good business practices. And you can see right here, they go the extra mile. This is another Hoya for $18, and notice how they have a palm, like a paw sticker on it. This is actually pet friendly, child friendly. So, you know, with Hoyas, and that's something I learned from actually going to Pitas Planters. I didn't realize that Hoyas were more of the pet friendly plant, as well as like prayer plants and calathea and the Pachira aquatica. So things like that. I mean, I am always learning. I learn from you guys. I learn from the community, and I learn by going to plant shops and asking questions. And this is a place where you can ask a lot of questions. They have a lot of answers, and if they don't have the answer, I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to find one for you. Now over here is a begonia. This one is Miss Mummy for $38 in a 10-inch planter. That is actually a really good price. It looks so good, and I remember when Trending Tropicals Costa Farms was selling this plant as a trending tropical plant a couple years back. I remember owning something similar to this. Now that you know, angel wing begonia, it could be an easy to care for plant as long as you don't overwater it. And then over here is a philodendron Pluto for $30. So this is another type of philodendron that I want to add to my collection. It has serrated leaves, and what's interesting is the philodendron ring of fire, the philodendron golden crocodile, the philodendron jungle boogie, which is basically the green form of those two plants, were actually originated from that philodendron. I learned that from Mari, who actually runs a shop called Cultivar in Houston, which I also featured in my plant shopping videos. And again, plant foldies, if you made it this far and haven't hit the like button, please make sure you are hitting the like button, as well as leaving many comments for me. You can even leave comments or questions for Pita. I'm sure that they will see the feedback or just read your comments. So I hope we keep keep it positive as well. And then plant foldies, again, this is another philodendron that I wanted to get. This is an interesting one. This is a philodendron jopii for $25. And what's interesting is just the leaf shape. This is a philodendron that needs to climb. So for you to get those mature shaped leaves, you really want to give it a moss pole, some type of stake, a plank, something for it to attach on you. You'll get some really good leaves. And then over here, super healthy philodendron heteroecium Rio, and I will say for $18, this is such a good price for a philodendron heteroecium Rio. I love philodendron heteroecium. I definitely want to collect all the varieties. Currently, I have a philodendron heteroecium Brazil, the Rio. I've got the elusive Gabby. I'm also trying to get some more of these varieties. But as far as the philodendron heteroecium Rio, that is such a beautiful plant. And I remember this philodendron was super rare 3 to 4 years ago, and now you can find it for a pretty good price. I think $18 is not a bad price at all. So if you want one of these philodendron heteroecium Rios, definitely go to Pitas Planters, and you see that they have many of these to choose from, and you can see that they're all trailing. They're super healthy. Now, to get the really good variegation for the philodendron heteroeciums, you want to provide it with quite a bit of light. Their variegation or their coloration is really influenced by the amount of light you provide it. So if you give it some really good lighting conditions, you're going to maximize the color of the plant. For that plant though, I would recommend just watering it and letting the soil completely dry. That's probably the safest bet because you don't want to root rot it. Now, as I pan over here, they also have a bunch of air plants. Now, the thing about air plants, I don't really know a lot about air plants. The one thing I will say about air plants is that they definitely get their water source from the ambient humidity. To water them, you just dunk them in water and then you pull them out and then you just let them dry. You don't want to overwater them just because they are susceptible to rotting. And you can see here, Pitas Planters not only sells really nice looking plants, they have a lot of little keepsakes like these Dallas mugs, and they also have some handmade pottery. Like this one is for $18. Pitas Planters also is known for the actual planters. So Pita creates these really nice looking handmade planters, which I am fortunate to have gotten one. It was a yellow geometric shaped planters. And when I talk about planters actually make a huge impact on the plant's presentation. So that's something we can talk about in a future video. And then you can see right here they've got a terrazzo handmade propagation station that Pita made herself. You can see that this one is also for $18, and I love the fact that they use recycled materials to create that. So not only is it creative, beautiful, stylish, it's also sustainably created. And then over here is a begonia. I really can't pronounce the name, so I'll just leave you the plant ID. And then this one right here is an Aglaonema Gili Red for $12, and I actually should have bought this Aglaonema while I was there filming this video. The good thing about it is I can always go back, hang out at Pitas Planters and purchase more Aglaonema. You can see that they have beautiful red plants. Like, I don't know if you guys like red plants. I know I have a couple of plant foldies that love red plants. So if you are in the local Dallas-Fort Worth area, definitely come out to Pitas Planters. I love the fact that they've sourced out this begonia, and as tempting as I want to get this begonia, and it's only for $25. I've had one before, but this begonia is a little bit more on the advanced level for plant parents. You really need to provide it with quite a bit of humidity. You want to give it a stake because it wants to climb, and it also needs to remain, I would say you want to wait till it's about 50% dry on the soil for you to water it again. You don't want to overwater it. You don't want to underwater it. So it is one of those finicky plants. I will say humidity plays a huge part in the that particular begonia's success. And then over here is a really good plant. Now, if you see right over here, this is the begonia bat wing. Look at how cool this begonia is. I love the undersides of the leaves. Now, when you think about begonias or begonia hybrids, Steve's Leaves is actually located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's actually in Louisville. I think this may have been sourced out from Steve's Leaves. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I love the fact that local businesses will also support local nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Steve Leaves is known for begonias, and they will also be at Plant Con. I hope to be able to film or at least visit the nursery someday. I purchased begonias from Steve Leaves. I will definitely purchase begonias from Pitas Planters as well. Like this one is probably the one I would purchase because look at that metallic shine on this particular begonia. So this one is for only $18.50. This is so beautiful. Like Plant Foldies, let me know in the comments what you think about this begonia. Would you purchase this begonia? And the thing about this particular begonia is it is an angel wing begonia. So it gets taller and it's not as finicky as a Rex begonia. For some reason, Rex begonias don't do well for me, but angel wing begonias do very well for me. Now, my grandmother, she can pretty much grow any begonia, and I've stated this in all of my other videos, but the reason why I got into plants is because my grandmother taught me a lot about plant care. And when you think about plant care, it's really about being dedicated, being devoted to your plant care routines. Now, begonias, they do need to be they're not a beginner plant. Like even this one's only for $18.50. They're not a beginner plant, but they are probably what I would say more of like an intermediate plant. Their care conditions, and the reason why I say intermediate is because they definitely don't want to be neglected. They definitely need bright indirect light. You need to stay on top of their watering in order for them to really thrive. And as far as propagation, especially with angel wing begonia, super easy. You can propagate them by just taking cuttings and water propagating them. Although my grandmother, for some reason, she's just able to stick them in soil and then they root. But as you can see over here, Plant Foldies, like I was so tempted to purchase that beautiful red begonia right there. I mean, it is just such a striking color. And then over here to this Miss Mummy begonia is beautiful. I like that lavender silver shine about it. And sometimes whenever you take the time to really admire a plant by just looking at it, you can see that there are a lot of nuances in just specific plants, the foliage and all of that. So I don't know, Plant Foldies, let me know what you think so far of all of the Pitas Planters plants. You can see right over here, this is an Alocasia dragon scale. This one is for $25. And I know we will see this at, Trending Tropicals, mostly for like $19.84 at a big box store. But again, Plant Foldies, if you were to choose between big box store and local nurseries, I will say support the local businesses more so than the big box stores, because local nurseries like plant shops like Pitas Planters, just the care and the amount of investment put into these plants is going to be far greater than the ones at big box stores. Yes, you might save $1 or $2, but if you shop at a local nursery or a plant shop like Pitas Planters, you're guaranteed a higher success rate in being able to take care of the plants, because you'll be equipped with the knowledge, because they will make it a personalized experience. And then also just the plant health of the plant. I mean, I will say I can't guarantee that all plants you find at a plant shop are going to be pest free, but the likelihood of pests being on the plants is more unlikely versus going to a big box store. Now, that's not to dig at big box stores, because obviously this channel is really centered around going big box store plant shopping. It's just that big box stores tend to have less priority onto the plants. It depends really on which big box store, but a plant shop like this, it's 150% guaranteed that they're taking care of these plants every day, all day. And yeah, so that's what I would just, that's kind of like my commentary on that. I did also want to show you this really interesting looking Epipremnum aureum Shangri-La. It looks like spinach leaves. This also was another uncommon plant. Now that that Pothos plant is originally from Japan. It was a mutation discovered in Japan. And then over here is a Peperomia obtusifolia marble. Now this is stunning. This is a plant that I definitely need to add back into my collection, because it's got a waxy, thick leaf about it. For the most part, peperomias, especially the obtusifolia varieties, are more hardy and drought tolerant. They can tolerate a little bit more neglect. And Plant Foldies, when it comes down to it, for me, I cannot put as much effort into my plant care as maybe somebody else who might not have like a super demanding job. My job is super, it's just super demanding, but at the same time, it's one of those situations where you have to really assess the time you have for your plants for them to be successful. Now, as far as success, this is a successful philodendron ring of fire. Like, look at that variegation. Like, I would recommend that. I believe that is for $25 or $30. And, you know, philodendron ring of fire, I would say, is a common variegated philodendron. You find them all over big box stores, but the variegation varies from, you know, big box store to local nurseries. So you can see here, this is a variegated string of hearts, and you can see that it is pet friendly. It does have the paw, which I just learned by visiting. I have a hanging basket of variegated string of hearts. It's absolutely stunning. It is an easy to care for plant. Now, it is more of a succulent plant, so you just want to make sure that you do not water it, overwater it. You want to make sure that the soil is completely dry before you rewater it again. And then you can see as I walk around here, I'm actually thinking about buying this particular plant shelf and adding it into my plant, you know, into my home. You know, I am trying to get my plant collection ready to do a houseplant tour, plant folies. I know you guys have been wanting to see my personal collection. I have been giving you guys a couple of previews of my personal plants on my Instagram. So if you haven't already, plant folies, please follow me on Instagram at growfolds. Now, if you don't have an Instagram account, Instagram is a great place to find other plant lovers. And that is one place that I do a lot of my announcements and news for the plant foldy community. Instagram is a place where I discovered Pitas Planters. Like, I would have never known Pitas Planters until I ran into one of her reels, which are super engaging. I would also recommend anybody who has Instagram to follow Pitas Planters. That's their actual Instagram name. Let's just support local businesses like that. And then over here, this is another air plant that I want to get. This one is for $25. It looks super cool, but I would say it's another, you know, sometimes when you see plants that are super cool or just look really interesting, it doesn't mean that you want to pick up the plant. I always like to do a little bit more research before I pick up a plant and take it home. I just think that there's a higher success rate in being able to grow it successfully at a home. Do your research first. I tend to look at other plant YouTubers for, you know, information. I like to search on Google just to see what plant care tips are there. And then just overall experience and just talking to other plant lovers, that's another way to really hone into plant care tips and just getting to know your plants. But as you can see here, plant folies, again, we have hanging baskets of Hoya. This is another beautiful Hoya right over here. And you can tell that a Hoya is happy because it'll shoot out these like strings and then there'll be like foliage for it. I have 3 Hoyas so far in my plant collection and they're doing very well. And then this is the philodendron I need to purchase. I have not purchased it yet. This is the philodendron jungle boogie. So you saw the philodendron ring of fire, which I have tons of, and I'm thinking about doing a plant giveaway for a ring of fire, but this is only for $25. And truthfully, I'm probably gonna go back to this if this isn't sold. What a beautiful looking philodendron. And while it's green, I love the serrated leaves on the philodendron jungle boogie. Again, this is a child of the philodendron Pluto, and I just love learning the parentage of a lot of these philodendron. And I actually have a philodendron golden crocodile, which is basically the neon version of it. So I want to get the philodendron jungle boogie, and it's only for $25 at Pitas Planters. That is another plant that I should have bought. And then over here, plant foldies, you can see is a philodendron white princess, $25 as well. And I do love the look of philodendron white princess. I have a couple growing that I purchased from Walmart, but you can see at a plant shop like Pitas Planters, they have that available. And that's a cool thing about going to this shop. They have so many different plants. Everywhere you turn, there is a surprise, like this one right here, another philodendron white princess. I like this one a lot. It's super full, and look at how gorgeous that leaf is. It is just giving you diva in a good way. It's not a diva plant because philodendron white princess is quite easy to take care of. It does want to climb up a pole, so you want to make sure that in order for you to get the larger leaves, the beautiful variegation, the more vigorous growth, give it a moss pole, a totem pole, a plank. Also give it more humidity and it will do well. Now for these white variegated plants, I would recommend using a solution called Protect. It's a silica solution that really helps maintain that variegation to where it doesn't crisp up or brown up. I've had a lot of success. And then over here again, we've got another Philodendron Ring of Fire. This is for $30. And you know, Philodendron Ring of Fire, what I've realized and learned is if you do not provide it with quite a bit of light, it actually loses its variegation. It needs to have more bright and direct light for it to do well and to actually push out some really good variegation. I only know this because I've actually grown a couple of some of the clearance ones I purchased at in my garage under a grow light, and it doesn't get nearly as much light, so therefore it started to somewhat revert. It's more of a green on green variegation, but that is a beautiful plant. I did want to pan over that you have the variegated version, and you can see that we have the jungle boogie or the green variegation. I definitely need to add that to my collection since I already have the neon colored variegation. So super interesting. And then I want to show you the mother plant. So that is actually the original philodendron that created all of those philodendron on the floor. This is the philodendron Pluto, and again, Pluto, it's not as serrated or narrow, but all three philodendron are extremely easy to take care of. They are one of those philodendrons. Actually, philodendrons in general are more of an easy to care for plant, but if you are a beginner and you want to add something like a philodendron Ring of Fire or even a philodendron Jungle Boogie, I would recommend it because they're easy to care for plants. Now, they do need to climb up a pole or have some type of stake eventually, not nearly as much as some of the other plants like the philodendron White Princess, but check out that variegation. And you know, whenever I'm filming, especially early in the morning, I just love how beautiful the morning light hits these plants. You know, if you're going to ask me my favorite time of the day, it's always the morning. I think there's a little bit of symbolism whenever you wake up and you see that the morning, you know, the morning sun, just the sunrise, having a brand new day, brand new slate. It's just a really nice one. That's my favorite part of the day. I think that's when I'm the most alert, is actually in the morning. But then plant foldies, again, you can see here we have some silver plants. So we had some neon plants, variegated plants. This one's a philodendron soderoy for $25. And that is another plant that I want to add to my collection. So in terms of coloration or different types of colors, like I obviously love dark foliage plants. I also love neon color plants. I also love just all sorts of different types of plants that we have, but silver plants also tickle my fancy. I definitely love that as well. And that is another philodendron that I would like to add to my collection eventually. And then over here is an Amydrium silver medium. I just passed by it and you can see here, this is another plant I wanted to highlight. So this is a Homolemena green gem. And this is the plant that I'm gonna definitely take home. I did take home because I've never really seen a neon colored Homolemena. So sunshine gem for only $22. Very, very good price. And you know, Homolemena, it's not a plant that you really see at big box stores. I think you'll see like the Homolemena Shelby, but that's really not the typical looking Homolemena. I definitely want to see if I can find some variegated Homolemena at PlantCon. They were super expensive, but even just the green neon color, the sunshine one, I will say for this particular Homolemena, you definitely want to provide it with quite a bit of light for that to have that neon color. That's really the rule of thumb when it comes to those neon colored plants. More light, better coloration. And then over here is a Dieffenbachia crocodile for $22.50. This one actually has more a shiny variety of Dieffenbachia. Most Dieffenbachia are more of a matte finish, sometimes velvety, but this crocodile has some really nice speckling on its leaf. Now with Dieffenbachia, we typically talk about Dieffenbachia just being a little bit more finicky of a plant. I definitely think that Dieffenbachia can be a good house plant. If you're gonna grow them indoors, they definitely need to be grown with quite a bit of bright light, and make sure that you're spraying it with neem oil. And plant foliage, you can see even on the bottom shelves, they've got a beautiful looking begonia right over here. I do think this is a Rex begonia of some sort. Look at how beautiful the edges are. This is also for $16.50. I love begonias. I just can't grow them consistently unless they are an angel wing begonia, like Rex begonias. They're almost in the same level of care as a calathea, maybe a little bit easier. I mean, look at how beautiful the foliage is, but they're just a little bit more finicky. Now, if you love that, like this is Harmony's Red for $18.50. Plant Foldies, let me know if you actually have been able to grow begonias on a consistent basis. I really like hearing your plant stories and, you know, what tips you would offer for a Rex begonia. For the angel wing begonia, they're super easy for me to take care of, but that is more of a challenging plant. Now over here is a Monstera dubia for $35, and what's really cool about Monstera dubia is you notice how there's a plank. It literally needs a plank for it to just attach itself to. It just attaches itself like flat there. Now the thing about Monstera dubia is you need to provide it with quite a bit of humidity for it to really attach. And then over here, I don't know if this is a propagation by Pita herself. This is a Philodendron splendid. So it's a verrucosum crossed with a Philodendron melanochrysum, and it's already got a little pole, a little moss pole on it. Really cool looking philodendron. Now the only thing about philodendrons that are a little bit velvety in texture, they are a little bit more spider mite prone. So you have to kind of monitor the levels of humidity in order to repel a spider mite. I would just say neem oil. Neem oil is the best thing. And you can see right here, this is a Monstera dubia that's wanting to attach itself to the actual wall. Super cute. And then this is a Hoya ovada with trellis. Look at how cute this is. It's got that speckling on the leaves as well. And I love the little trellis here. I believe this is for $30. And for my Hoya heads, or for those that love Hoyas, definitely go to Pitas Planters. I cannot tell you guys enough on this video that Pitas Planters is where it's at. I mean, look at here. If you want a Monstera Thai constellation for a good price, go to Pitas Planters. Check this out right here. This is for $42 in a 4-inch planter. Look at how highly variegated this particular Monstera Thai constellation is. And while Monstera Thai constellation is becoming more of a common or easy to find plant at big box stores, there's no doubt that Monstera Thai constellation is still on many people's wish list. I would like to do another Monstera Thai constellation giveaway. I may end up purchasing one of these in the future, just so I could do a giveaway for our Plant Foldy community. I want to be able to get plants sourced out for people, especially your wish list plants. You know, I have a plethora of wish list plants I want to be able to get a hold of, and hopefully PlantCon 2024 is going to get that for me. But anyways, Plant Foldies, you can see here Monstera Thai constellation available at Pitas Planters, and then right next to it is a beautiful Hoya. This one, I don't know if this is a Hoya splash or publicaic splash. I do like the look of this one. Again, Hoyas are easy to care for plants. The trick is you want to make sure that you're giving them quite a bit of humidity if possible. Stay consistent on the watering and lighting. If you give it quite a bit of light, you can actually get the better coloration. You can actually sun stress it. And what I mean by sun stressing, for those that don't know, is sun stressing is when you're providing the plant with more than enough light, more than it needs, and it starts to give you different types of variegation or color. Now, this is another philodendron that caught my eye, and honestly, it's one that I may come back for. This is another type of philodendron cross. You can see right over here, this is a philodendron cross with a pedatum and a I can't pronounce the name, but it's for $30. I do have a philodendron pedatum as just the green form, but I also have the philodendron variegated pedatum, which is still quite pricey. But you can see here, this almost looks like a philodendron mayoi. I love the crossbreeding of philodendron. Now, there's one wish list plant that I'm pretty sure I won't be able to get because the price is expensive. It is a philodendron tortum crossed with a philodendron Florida Beauty. So you can see that it's got like that tortum texture as well as a Florida Beauty variegation. But this one, even though it's a green form, beautiful plant. I'm curious to see what the mature leaves will look like. And then over here are a bunch of Hoyas. Again, this is just Hoya heaven right here. You can see that they have many different varieties of Hoyas, and you know, their price ranges are not that bad. You know, I think it's like $18 for most of them, maybe even less. This one is for $25. This is another Hoya that a lot of people actually want to add to their collection. Again, Hoyas, it's easy to find them at a local nursery, not so much at a big box store. Like this one is a Hoya Lisa for only $16. I love Hoya Lisa, that green on green variegation, that reddish tone from it, and if you give it a lot of light, it'll give you some really good variegation. So with Hoya, lighting is the key to get the best coloration. Some plants are just naturally more prone to just give you like stable variegation, but with Hoyas, more light, better coloration, better variegation, more healthy plant. But as you can see here, plant foldies, we've got a plethora of different types of Dieffenbachia. What else do we have? We just have more plants that are readily available. Then, you know, big box stores, like you can see, we've got a Dieffenbachia reflector, we've got a Dieffenbachia crocodile, and on this table, we also have a beautiful Philodendron Bellitier. That's another philodendron that used to be super expensive, but now we've been able to like find them at like big box stores, surprisingly at Home Depot, but you can definitely find them at plant shops like Pitas Planters. You can see right over here. Let's take a look at this. This is a Dieffenbachia reflector. Beautiful colors. This is for $25. Now, the only thing about this Dieffenbachia is it is more of a finicky plant. You need to give it quite a bit of humidity. And it's also more spider mite prone because for some reason, those velvety textured plants tend to be a little bit more spider mite prone. You know, Dieffenbachias, I'm open to growing Dieffenbachias, and it's only because I fell in love with them when I went to the Philippines. My family's originally from the Philippines, and I took a vacation about a month ago now, I think about a month ago, and I saw Dieffenbachias just growing out in the wild, and they were just thriving. You can see over there, that was a Philodendron White Princess, and then another gorgeous looking Alocasia Silver Dragon. Here's the thing about Alocasia. So I started converting some of my plants to leca to grow them in semi-hydroponics. The imports I got from Green Spaces ID, I went ahead and put in leca. I just feel like they were already bare roots, so it would just be an easy transition for them. But we're gonna see if I'm growing Alocasia in leca. I actually would have preferred to grow them in pond, but pond is actually hard to source, at least on Amazon. It's sold out. So I'm going to try leca. Plant foldies, let me know in the comment section if you grow Alocasia in leca and if it's a lot easier to do that versus growing them in soil. I really want your insights, but you can see here, look at how massive this 6-inch planter is of a Philodendron White Princess. I believe this is only for $30. Very, very good pricing for this particular Philodendron White Princess. Love the variegation. And you know, with Philodendron White Princess, I would say that it's actually the initial genetics of the plant that will really dictate the variegation. Similar to like a Philodendron Pink Princess, but it is another one of those plants that has that speckling. It almost reminds me of like a Thai constellation. And for it to get those large leaves, you want to make sure that you are giving it a moss pole to climb on or something of that nature to really get the maximized beauty of that particular plant. And that's the thing, plant foldies, to get the beauty or the maximized potential of the plant, you want to try to mimic the natural environment or climate it has, its growth pattern as well. Over here for $22.50 is a Dieffenbachia crocodile. I do want to add the Dieffenbachia crocodile. The only Dieffenbachia I have is a Dieffenbachia Cool Beauty, which actually didn't do very well because I didn't water it as much. It was actually growing outside and like the sprinkler system didn't hit it. So I may end up having to purchase that again. I do want to add Dieffenbachia. There's another Dieffenbachia I want to purchase, which is the Dieffenbachia White Dragon. Really good variegation. But plant foldies, what do you think about the Pitas planter space? There's just so many beautiful plants to pick from, and you can see that this is just a gorgeous looking plant shop. And you can see plant foldies, so many plants to look at, and look at how gorgeous this space is. I'm just lucky that I was able to film this without any customers so far, but again, while it is a small space, everywhere you turn, there's a really cool plant to pick, and the plant pricing is amazing. So definitely make it out here. I mean, I'm going to pan around this corner, and I'm definitely going to take my time to show you guys all of these plants. But you can see not only do they sell plants, they sell a lot of handmade crafts from local artists. So I love that they also support local businesses as well. It's all about the community plant foldies. And again, I did want to thank everybody for tuning into all of my videos. I was able to reach a milestone by getting to 10,000 YouTube subscribers in about 9 months. So I'm super excited that our community has grown. But as you can see here, plant foldies, all of the lighting that hits these plants, and just all of the different plants you can pick from. While it is a smaller space, you still can get a lot of the different plants you want. Like, you can literally walk out with maybe 6 or 7 different types of philodendron. I do like the aesthetic of this this plant shop, just because it's really cozy, it's very intimate, and it's just a chill place to shop at. So plant foldies, let me know what you guys think so far. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. So there was a pop-up called Quiche happening the day I filmed this, and you can see that this is the pop-up menu. So I was really fortunate to be able to purchase such yummy food for the morning I actually did filming. So it was really good. They had a variety of different types of gourmet type food. They had some scones, they had all sorts of pastries available. My favorite had to been the empanadas. They had pork and chicken empanadas, but honestly, I purchased quite a bit of selection here. So they actually deliver in Dallas and East Dallas. They're based out in East Dallas. So please make sure you are following their Instagram as well. I definitely will purchase more, but when the pop-up happened, you can see right here that lemon meringue was that meringue was so good as well. All of this was actually priced very well, considering that this was from a chef, and I just love it. I was able to meet the guys that were involved into this small business, and I would recommend going to Quiche. I'm glad that they have a pop-up menu. I don't know so much about the business, but what I can tell you is it was amazing. The food was amazing. These pastries are amazing. I'm craving it, and I want to get more soon. So let's go back to the plant. So this is the elusive Pachira aquatica variegated form. This is over $100, and you can see that it is grafted, but look at how beautiful the variegation is. And I was telling Pita and some of the people that were shopping that, in the Philippines, this was actually massive. They get into like really large sizes. And, for the Philippines, this is just a very common plant, but over in the western part of the world, in the United States, this is an uncommon plant. And, it is a wish list plant of mine. It is one that I want to purchase. At maybe PlantCom. We'll see if I can find it. It is an easy to care for plant. You just got to make sure that you do provide it with bright indirect light. And then you can see here they have some larger plants as well. So even though this is a small space, they do have some large plants to pick from. And then over on this corner again, we've got Bird of Paradise actually. And the thing about Bird of Paradise is they can get large. They need quite a bit of light for them to really thrive. And then over here we've got a Hydra. This is actually not a Hydra. This is an Algerian ivy, and I saw this last time, and I told David, Pita's partner, that it's risky to actually bring any type of Hydra or Hedera into a plant shop because they can get spider mites, but they're still doing very well. I do like the variegation on it. I might actually try growing an Algerian ivy. Now that one was priced at, I believe, $15. And then you talk about aglaonemas. I am on an aglaonema kick. This one is an aglaonema night sparkle, beautiful plant. Now with aglaonemas, they're always marketed as being low light tolerant. Here's the thing I would say about low light tolerant plants. It can survive in a low light condition, but it's definitely not going to thrive. It's definitely not going to grow as quickly, and it's definitely not going to give you the best coloration. For aglaonemas, bright indirect light is really the best, especially for the ones that have that type of coloration. You'll get better pinks, you'll get better just growth. It is already a slow growing plant, and I would say for aglaonemas, that's probably the biggest drawback about growing aglaonemas is they're slow growing. Now over here is another white Bird of Paradise. Now I've never seen a bird of paradise in bloom. I was told that bird of paradise will not bloom in Texas or indoors, but they definitely will in like a place like Florida. I also want to show you these enamel pins. Look at how cute this is. This is a Syngonium albo. Really like that a lot. I love all of the Pita Planters stickers and just all of the little tiny cute crafts that they have available here. Now, this is one of my favorite philodendron. This is a philodendron Summer Glory, and it is only for $15. Summer Glory, the reason why I love this philodendron is when it unfurls a new leaf, it has a caramel shape and it has a natural like satin shine to it. It's also a pretty fast grower as well. And over here, Plant Foldies is a Philodendron Moonlight. You already know I love some Philodendron Moonlight. This is only for $12. So like I said again, Plant Foldies, if you are getting into philodendron, which I would recommend because they are a pretty easy genus of plants to grow, I would definitely go to Pitas Planters because there's just many different varieties that you can pick from. Like right over here, look at this. Another Philodendron Bellitiae, and these are the larger sizes. These are in the 6-inch planters. What I like about Philodendron Bellitiae is obviously that narrow shaped leaf and also the orange stems. There is something about a plant's stems, like whether it's a different color. I like white aglaonema stems, for instance, but that orange is really unique, and that is only for $25. Now, I recently received a free gift from Green Space's ID. So I was able to import a Philodendron Bellitiae from Indonesia, and it's actually growing in Lekka. It's doing very well for me. We'll see in a couple of weeks. I want to do some more updates, but we'll definitely see how that works out for me. Now over here is an Epipremnum aureum Neon Queen Pothos. This is a Neon Queen Pothos, $14.50. It is one of the newer varieties. I would say it's a more highly variegated golden pothos. The thing about this particular pothos, you know, I love neon plants, but this one can easily revert if you don't provide it with quite a bit of bright light. So what I would say is if you don't provide it a south-facing window or can't give it that type of intense light, I would grow it under a grow light for you to really push out a lot of the variegation. A lot of pothos plants or Epipremnum aureum, they're really their coloration is really based on light. Like right over here is the neon pothos, and it's only for $12.50. You can see that that is basically the plant but not variegated. I love neon plants. I have my neon pothos plant growing under a grow light, and it's gotten some really good neon colors. Now, Plant Foldies, let me know in the comments if you like neon color plants. I love neon color plants. There's something about how they light up a space that just really brings joy to me. And then you can see right here for $12, this is the Epipremnum aureum Marble Queen Pothos. So the Marble Queen Pothos, the thing about it is you definitely have to give it quite a bit of light. If you don't, it's gonna get more green cream variegation. The more light you have, the more white or cream variegation you're gonna see. I tend to grow those under a grow light or just somewhere where they receive a lot of light. Now, people will say that pothos plants are definitely low light tolerant. They are, but you will not get the best colors if you do grow them in a low light area. What I do like about pothos plants is they're readily available and everybody should add them to your collection. Most people start their houseplant journey by getting a golden pothos, but you can see we've also got carnivorous plants there, some pitcher plants. We've got another type of, they've got these Alocasias, and they look similar to a Jacqueline, especially the stems. This is a Brancifolia Alocasia for $22. Really cool looking like leaf color or just the leaf shape, really serrated. It does look like a Jacqueline, but I also like the stems as well. Look at that texture on the stems. Now with Alocasias, again, Plant Foldy, do you think I'm making a good decision by converting them to Lekka? I was able to acquire some other cool Alocasias that you will see in some of my future plant shopping videos, but I was told that, you know, growing Alocasia with Lekka is actually a better form for them to grow. So just let me know in the comments, Plant Foldies. I do want to know what your thoughts are. And then over here, Dieffenbachia reflector, and that's only for $16 or maybe $18. Beautiful Dieffenbachia, and this is a smaller variety. This is a smaller planter, so if you don't want to get the larger one and you don't want to invest as much money, that's still a really good price for the reflector. And then over here, Plant Foldies, we've got a Scindapsus exotica. I think this is the exotica. We'll see. Let's take a look at it. Yep, exotica for only $15. Not a bad price at all. And look at how massive the leaves are. Now with Scindapsus, they're similar to Pothos plants, but I would say they're much slower growing, but they also let you know when they're thirsty. Their leaves start to curl up when they're thirsty. So that's it's another easy to care for plant. If you want silver foliage, you definitely want to go with a Scindapsus type plant. And then these are some of the handmade planters by Pita. You can see right here, look at that geometric shape, and it's just so cool. This is made from a concrete mold, and this is only for $15, and it does have a drainage hole. And right next to it is a Peperomia Pink Lady for $16, and I like the Peperomia Pink Lady. Now, to get that pink variegation, you want to provide it with quite a bit of light as well. Otherwise, you're not going to get the best coloration. So Plant Foldies, the theme of coloration is better lighting will give you better results overall with plants. Now, I love this very simple shape, and it's only for $15. I love the color of it as well. The pastels tend to work for me better. I like that modern contemporary vibe that planters have. And take a look at this. This is a recycled material planter that they created, and you can see there's like snowflakes in there. Really cool looking planter. And I'm all about handmade plants. When I was in college, I was actually an fine arts major. So anything crafty, anything artistic really tickles my fancy. I love, creativity, and definitely Pitas Planters provides that. And then you can see right here, this is another Peperomia that I think is super cool too. This is a Peperomia Ecuador for $13, and I remember running into this about a year ago, and I thought that it was such a cool plant. It looks like a watermelon, Peperomia watermelon, but just a little bit different, and you can see that it's got that metallic shine about it. Now this is another easy to care for plant. You just got to make sure you provide it with bright indirect light, water when the soil is I would say 80% dry, and you're good to go. Now, I wanted to show you this Anthurium clavinarium hybrid. So this is for $38, and I want to show you a series of this because when you say hybrid, these are basically Anthurium seedlings from the same parent. But what's interesting is they don't really have like a cultivar. So basically, these are all seedling anthuriums from the clavinarium parent. And you can see right here, look at the veining, but I'm going to show you different ones, and I'll show you that they have different characteristics. So we have that first one, and then we have this one. Notice how like the leaf shape and the veining is a little bit different. I am starting to get into anthuriums, and the reason why I've started to get into anthuriums is because I didn't think they were, I learned that they're not as fussy as people make them out. Like I got a super beautiful one from Green Spaces ID. It actually imported well from Indonesia. It's growing in leca, and it's not being fussy at all. Now with anthuriums, they do say you need to give them with a lot of humidity. So that's something I want to supplement some of my anthuriums. But look at how beautiful that is. Look at the leaf shape. It's a little bit different than the other one, but these hybrids are for $38. Now what I would do if I were to get one of these anthurium clavinarium hybrids, or actually, what I would say is a seedling form, is I would probably convert it to leca or pon. But you can see right here, look at this one. This one's got a lighter leaf and more of a wide shape. Really love the look of that. The thing about clavinariums or anthuriums in general is I love the leaf shape, especially when they look like hearts. Look at how gorgeous that is. And this one has more of like a satin finish about it. Again, Plant Foldies, let me know about your care tips for anthuriums. If you like anthuriums, I don't know nearly as much about it. I just remember getting an anthurium about 4 years ago. It didn't do well for me, and I think it's because I either overwatered it or I just didn't give it enough light. Either way, they're a little bit slower growing, but this one right here, for instance, is an Anthurium clavinarium. This is the same one, but notice how this one looks more like the parent versus the other one. As you can see that it has a different leaf shade. Like literally, it's a darker foliage plant. It's not as like light green, but it's still such an interesting looking plant. And I love that they have different parentage, or the parent is the same, but there's different genetics. And you know, plant foldies, if you think about how different varieties of plants come about, it's basically the seeds. Not all, like all seeds will have a different type of genetic makeup, and you can clearly see that these plants do. And then over here, plant foldies, this is that philodendron for $22, like the 6, 8, 9 something. I'm gonna put it in the actual plant ID here. It almost looks like a Florida green. Interesting looking plant. And I heard that the reason why they call this philodendron the numbers is because it's an actual zip code of where it came from. Really interesting name. And, you know, it's funny how some plants really get some cool names. I will say the famous Kunzo from Japan, he comes up with some really cool names, like that Monstera Yellow Marilyn. He named it after Marilyn Monroe because she was blonde, and the variegation on that particular Monstera has more of a yellowish aurea tone. So I digress. I know sometimes I kind of chatter away and get off topic, but those are just little tidbits, plant foldies, that I like to share during my plant shopping videos. Again, I utilize a lot of my plant shopping videos to just talk about my plant insights. I utilize it as more like a personal blog, as well as getting you guys excited about plants. Now you can see right here, classic Monstera adansonii, really nice looking plant. And I'm gonna try to get the plant. I don't want to knock over something. So hopefully, like I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. I don't want to knock off a plant. But this is the Dieffenbachia. Ooh, you can see right there, I almost knocked off that plant. Luckily I didn't, but take two. Ooh, I almost knocked it off again. This one is a Dieffenbachia white dragon, and this one is for $20. So I love the look of a Dieffenbachia white dragon because I remember seeing these. These were like 5 feet tall in the Philippines. They were massive. They were growing in full sun. Now, obviously, with the Texas heat, you know, being over 100 plus degrees, summer, it's just not a good environment for it. You know, with Dieffenbachias, they need quite a bit of humidity and light, but that's something I want to possibly get in my home. It will have to grow under a grow light for sure, or at least be supplemented with light just to make sure that it's getting as close to its natural environment. Now, plant foldies over here, I will be showing you guys some more Hoyas. So they've got more Hoyas. And like I said, if you want something pet friendly, you can get this Hoya. This one is a Matilde, which is more of an uncommon Hoya. This one is for $20. And I love the speckling and silver specks of on the leaves. And then let's take a look at some of the other plants we have over here, plant foldies. So we were looking at all of those Antheria clavinariums. This is the mother plant, or this is the original clavinarium. This is not a seedling. This one is for $40. And I like that she has these in clear planters. That's actually the rage now, is everybody growing their plants in clear planters. I probably need to do that just because you can see the soil, you can see the roots, but you can see right here, beautiful plant. I love the veining of the Anthurium clavinarium, and that's only for $40. That's not a bad price at all. And then we have some more Hoyas right over here. So plant foldies, what do you think so far of all the Pitas Planters plants? Would you go ahead and shop here? Let me know in the comments. Definitely want to support Pitas Planters. Again, Pitas Planters will have a booth at PlantCon 2024. Super excited to be meeting up with a lot of our plant foldies in the local Dallas-Fort Worth area. I hope that we can all meet up, chat. And for those that want to be in a Grow Folds I guess video from PlantCon, definitely let me know. I'm looking for people to interview. I'm looking for people to make cameos. I know that my best friend Isaac, as well as Luke, will also be there. They will also be wearing Growfolds t-shirts, so you can't miss us. And if you are interested in getting a Growfolds t-shirt, I am selling them for $20. I can bring them to PlantCon for you. Would really love the support on that. I have 4 different colors. I'll put them on my Instagram and maybe my my community as well on YouTube. But to go back to the plants, you can see they still have quite a bit of like Hoyas to pick from. Hoya compacta. I want to get the Hoya compacta variegata, or the variegated form. I am just nervous about, you know, those the Hindu rope or Hoya. Just because if I end up getting mealybugs, that would just be a pain to kill them. And over here is another Hoya. This is a Hoya rosita. Really nice Hoya, not a bad price at all. And again, these are pet friendly plants. So if you're looking for a pet friendly plant, Hoyas are the way to go, as well as like prayer plants. You can see that we have some philodendron micans in small hanging basket, pitcher plants, and then we have a Pachira aquatica here. Now, Pachira aquatica, that is a classic house plant. People think that it will bring you good luck. It's also known as the money tree. And then we also have a peperomia raindrop. So what's interesting is this is a small one for only $12.50. The leaves get super large, and I really like that it's shiny, it's waxy, and it's an easy to care for plant. So if you want a plant for a beginner, I would even recommend growing that particular peperomia. And then you can see here, I'm going to pull up another one. This is a beautiful peperomia raindrop. The price for $12.50 is not bad at all. And what I like about Pitas Planters is they have a lot of like 4.5-inch starter planters. So you're not having to break the bank to get these really cool plants. Like right here, peperomia painted lady. This was a super expensive peperomia about 3 to 4 years ago. So I'm just glad that these are more readily available. That one is also pet friendly, and it's a really good price as well. So plant foldies, let me know if you actually grow peperomia. That's another topic that I really don't discuss is peperomias. You know, I tend to like aglaonemas, syngoniums, pothos, but peperomia, that's something I may eventually add to my plant collection, at least more of. And then you can see right here, plant foldies, we've got some really cute little earrings. We've got a really cute keychain, just all the things that are planty. So it just brings me a lot of joy, you know. Plant foldies, this is definitely not going to be the last time I film Pitas Planters. You know, if you want extensive results of what new plants they have, you definitely want to be subscribed to my YouTube channel, just because I tend to visit this place often. You know, Pita will let me know whenever they actually get a new shipment, and when they do, I just come right over. Now, I did intend to buy me a Syngonium albo because this is actually a good price as well for $30. I do have some Syngonium albo, but they're not as full. I had a lot more Syngonium albo a couple years back, but I just kind of neglected them, and then I didn't keep up with my water propagations. It's kind of embarrassing, but I forgot to put water in them, and they ended up just shriveling up and going to plant heaven. So I was in the hunt for a Syngonium albo, but the thing about it is the one that was super highly variegated ended up getting purchased before then. So that's when I got like a little nervous about getting that homalomena gem, the one that was like neon. So I told Pita that I wanted it to be like held for me, and so she ended up holding that for me. So that's the thing, whenever you go plant shopping, plant foldies, do you ever like find a plant and you don't put it in your cart, and then all of a sudden that plant is not available? Let me know in the comments if that's ever happened to you. It definitely happened to me at Pitas Planters that day, but I'm okay with that. You know, they got a sale, and you know, Syngonium albo, it's actually something that you can find. Now over here, look at how large this Philodendron tortum is. Beautiful plant. Now I did get a Philodendron tortum at a big box store, but this one is a larger one for $34. I think Philodendron tortum is such a cool plant, and you know, it is actually a pretty hardy philodendron. It's actually more hardy than some of the other philodendrons we grow. And foliage, you can see right over here, we've got a Philodendron Silver Sword narrow form. So they have the wide form, but I also am interested in getting the narrow form. So eventually, if they still have this in stock, I will purchase this from Pitas Planters, and this is only for $18. So a lot of their 5-inch philodendron range from like $18, $25, or $30. So if you want to start a philodendron collection, you know, I think about my good friend Steven, who has a YouTube channel called I Live Plants. He loves philodendron. This is definitely the spot for anybody who loves philodendron, because you can find them at pretty good prices, and they're not like huge. So if you don't want to start with like a big plant, a big philodendron, you can go to Pitas Planters and get you like a 4.5-inch planter or a 5-inch planter. They're all really priced well. And then you can see over here Aglaonema Maria, and you know, I have an Aglaonema Maria. This is another classic Aglaonema, and that is for $18. I like that green on green variegation. And you know, Aglaonema Maria, that is another plant that you will find a lot at big box stores. I am all about Aglaonema again. You know, I I just got back to my routine, and so now I am collecting aglaonemas like it's nobody's business. I've been looking around for some pretty good ones. I did get an aglaonema green army from Pita. She ended up gifting me one, and I really appreciate it. It's doing very well for me. And again, this aglaonema red geely, like look at how awesome this is, and it's only for $12. I love red aglaonema, pink aglaonema, just aglaonema in general, and that is a plant I will continue to talk about on my YouTube channel, because there's not a lot of like plant lovers or plant influencers that really get into aglaonema. But like, look at this. This is a beautiful aglaonema BJ Friedman. This is another plant that you can potentially find at a big box store. It's not as common, but I love the fact that this particular aglaonema can get some really good size leaves, and it's got like a minty green silver foliage about it. Plant foldies, let me know if, since you've been watching my videos, plant shopping videos, if you've given an aglaonema a try. I really hope that you guys have, because aglaonemas, they're drought tolerant, they are low light tolerant, and they're just easy to grow. They're just a little bit slower. That's the only drawback about aglaonemas. Now, if you want to see some really cool aglaonemas, I would tell you, look at some of those Indonesian Instagram pages. They have so many different hybrids. And I did want to plug again Green Spaces ID. It is a plant company out in Indonesia. I've had a really good experience with them, and if you use my promo code Richie20 or GrowFolds20, you'll get 20% off your first purchase, and the first plant foldy orders, you will also receive a bonus free plant, so definitely check that out. Now over here is a cistus disc color. Now this was a plant that this is only for $20. That is not a bad price at all, and it's actually on a totem. This was a plant that I actually found at another local plant nursery called Callaway's like 4 years ago. I found a hanging basket, like a huge one, for $30. I regret not really taking care of it, because it is another beautiful plant. Look at the purple undersides of the leaves, and then also just the velvety texture. Now cistus disc color is a little bit of a finicky plant. It's not a beginner plant, but it does have some really nice leaf interest foliage for sure. Now plant foldies, let's see what else we have here. I know that I've been just kind of walking around and filming this location. I just can't get enough about all the plants that they have at Pitas Planters. So again, it's like you're walking and shopping with me. So this is their current stock of plants. Now I'm pretty sure by the time you get to Pitas Planters, some of this may have sold through. I remember seeing a lot of people picking up all of those like red begonias. I really debated on whether I should have gotten this aglaonema red geely. Such a beautiful plant, and it was only for $12. You can see they've got Osmocote there. Really good slow release fertilizer. Highly recommended on plants. Now the only thing about fertilizers though, you don't want to fertilize a highly variegated plant with a lot of nitrogen, because you'll end up promoting more green. Now over here is another pink syngonium. This is a syngonium pink perfection for $14. I was also wanting to get the pink perfection, because the pink perfection tends to have more narrow trilobes versus like the syngonium neon robusta. Pink plants are a thing for me. I love pink plants, and Pitas Planters has pink plants as well, whether it's syngoniums or aglaonemas. Those are plants that you can add to your collection if you really are into pink plants. And then you can see right here, neon color plants. Now let me show you this. So this is a philodendron painted lady, and it's only for $18. I ended up purchasing one 2 to 3 weeks ago from Pitas Planters, and my philodendron painted lady has already produced 2 more new leaves. Painted lady does need quite a bit of light. I set mine next to an east facing window, so it gets a lot of bright morning light, but I really want to flood it with more light so it can be a little bit more yellow. It isn't easy to care for a plant, but if you don't provide it enough light, it will get a little bit greener. Now next to it looks similar. This one is a philodendron orange marmalade. Now this one is for $35. I want to get a philodendron orange marmalade. I've actually been on a hunt to get more neon colored plants. I think when I start doing my personal plant collection, I'm gonna do plants where I can feature all of my neon colored plants, or all of my dark foliage plants, or all of my aglaonema. I want to start making more personalized content versus just doing local plant shop videos or big box stores. Now obviously that is definitely going to be the bread and butter of my YouTube channel, but I am going to start branching out and showing you just a little bit more of my plant collection, my personal plant collection. So plant foldies, if you are interested in that, you've got to leave a comment. Get me excited. If I see some comments coming through or lots of comments, I might be more motivated to make that type of content. I mean, this one right here too, this is another philodendron sodoroi that I want to get. Like, this is the one I probably should have taken home as well, because look at how perfect the leaves are and look at how silver it is. I mean, oh my gosh, plant foldies, I don't know. I'm just geeking out because there's just so many plants to pick from at Pitas Planters. Like, look at this one. This is a 69686 philodendron for $22. What an interesting name for this philodendron. And you can see this one doesn't have nearly as mature of a leaf it is. This one is definitely going to need to climb. And again, plant foldies, when it comes to philodendron, the majority of them want to climb. So if you want to get the full, mature, beautiful leaves, you have to give it a pull. You can't just leave it in its planter without any type of support. Now over here for my variegated cactus lovers, this is a variegated opuntia, and that one was, I think, for $45 or $35. Beautiful plant as well. I actually have one cactus growing out in my the side of my house. It is a prickly pear, but what a cute looking plant. And then you can see right over here, plant foldies, we've got a BJ Friedman aglaonema, a Pachira aquatica over here. We got some more variegated opuntia and a aglaonema green army. This one is for $20, and I know that people also like the aglaonema red army, which is a little bit more expensive, actually way more expensive and not as commonly found. I'm actually excited to be getting a hold of one. I ended up getting a pre-order from Green Spaces ID, but I did get an aglaonema green army from Pitas Planters. I love the silver metallic look on the leaves, and again, this is an easy to care for plant. With aglaonemas, I would let water when the soil is 100% dry. You don't have to water aglaonemas as often. Actually, that is the fastest way to kill them, is overwatering. Now we have an Anthurium super bum, I think that's how you pronounce it. This one is for $18, and look at how cute that is. I'm seeing a lot of this particular aglaonema popping up at big box stores. I know Live Trends plants tends to show that. I love the new leaf that has unfurled. Look at that, like, neon color leaf. It hasn't even like hardened yet. And that's the thing, plant foldies, the nuances of the new growth of the leaves also get me excited. Plant foldies, let me know actually other nuances that get you excited about plants. I just know not only does the variegation, but just even the growth pattern of a leaf, maybe the stems of a leaf, maybe just the leaf shape, or maybe how the light hits the leaves. Those are things that get me excited about plants. And you can see right here, I mean, silver plants, exotica, Scindapsus exotica, $15, a really good price as well for the plant. The only thing I will say about Scindapsus plants is they're just very slow growing, and I tend to be somewhat of an impatient person when it comes to plant growth. I get more inspired and excited when I'm able to, like, wake up in the morning, which is my favorite part of the day, and see if there's a new leaf that's about to unfurl, or if there's a new growth point, something of that nature. Now over here, Begonia maculata, beautiful begonia. That's a little bit of a finicky plant, but at least that plant is not as expensive as it was like 3 to 4 years ago. And then I'm gonna pick up again this Philodendron heteroraceum Rio. $18 for this plant is such a good price for a Philodendron heteroraceum. And this plant is a pretty fast growing plant. I know that I actually fertilize mine a little bit more often than I probably should, but I have been able to promote quite a bit of growth. And that is a plant though that if you grow up a totem pole or a moss pole, you will get some massive leaves. I'm hoping to do that with my Philodendron heteroraceum Gabby, and you can see right here, this is another Hydra. Nope, it's actually an Algerian ivy, and this is another plant that it's probably going to be similar to a Hedera helix or English ivy. It might be more spider mite prone. I might try to grow that because I also like the leaf shape as well as the variegation on it. But plant foldies, again, let me know what you guys think of Pitas Planters. I know I've been talking to you for more than an hour and a half. or so. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much. It always brings me so much joy that you guys even care to listen and watch my plant shopping videos. It's just exciting to be able to, you know, give you this content. And I did want to pass over this rare cabinet collection right here. We've got another Alocasia silver dragon up there, and just walking around and just, you know, panning over and showing you any of these other plants that I may have missed. There's always something really cool in like a little corner or a bottom shelf that you may not always see. But again, plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you are rooting for Pitas Planters. I'm definitely rooting for you, and I think that this is such a cute little plant shop. So if you're ever in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, definitely you know, show up at Pitas Planters, purchase a plant or two, or maybe even a dozen. There's just many plants to pick from. And again, they will be at PlantCon 2024, Plant Foldies. Let's show some full support by really gathering around and having some good conversations about plants and just really admiring the plants. I definitely will buy some more plants from Pitas Planters at PlantCon. I'm gonna see if she has any more other plants that are about to show up, because she did come out with some really cool variegated Alocasia. I do like the fact that she will have some cost-effective plants like Monstera Thai constellations. You can't go wrong with that. I have probably 9 to 10 Monstera Thai constellations. I just keep running into them, and I don't know. I have one original one though that is about 4 to 5 feet in height that I you know, got about 4 or 5 years ago, and it has grown to be a mature plant for me. It did get some thrifts, but anyways, it's better now. But anyways, plant foldies, again, I'm gonna go ahead and pan over here one last time to show you guys these plants, as well as show you the plant pop-up of these amazing, delicious pastries. You want to make sure that you're following them on Instagram. Let them know that you are a plant foldie from Grow Folds. We will get some more of these pastries. I definitely brought some home, and I really enjoyed it. It was such a good day, actually, plant foldies, to just visit Pitas Planters. At the time I filmed this was last Saturday, and there were quite a bit of people. But as you can see right here, it did clear out. I had to wait for people to kind of go away for me to be able to get these, you know, shots of their plant shop. But again, plant foldies, let me know in the comments what you think. The plants that I definitely want to come back for are more philodendron, more aglaonema. I may end up buying an anthurium because I'm thinking about doing more anthuriums or growing them in hydroponics. Any insights or plant tips would definitely be useful. I know I'm going to be getting some more Alocasia as well. But again, plant foldies, hopefully you have enjoyed just hanging out with me at looking at Pitas Planters plants. I will never get tired of going here because, again, they have so many plants to pick from. I made a couple of reels from some of their videos. So if you're actually on Instagram, definitely check that out and let me know. But plant foldies, please, please, please hit that like button for this video so we can push it out to more plant lovers like yourself, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel, Grow Folds, with all the notification bell on. This is Richie. I'll see you soon.